our household like a drill sergeant until the scholarship director came to observe. For 14 years, I lived with 2 different uncles. The generous man who told our whole town how he'd taken in his late sister's kids out of love, and the one who made my younger sister stand facing the wall for an hour because she'd left a smudge on the mirror. My sister learned to time her chores around his moods, knowing when he'd be too busy to explode. Once she slipped and left a cup in the sink overnight. You can't do one simple thing. No wonder nobody wanted you. He made her rewash every dish in the house while he watched, then quizzed her on where each one belonged to prove she was useless. She cried into her pillow that night. At church the next morning, the kids get overwhelmed, so I handle the house myself. Everyone praised what a saint he was for raising us. My brother wandered into the frame during one of Uncle's online mentoring calls, on screen for 2 seconds. Uncle kept smiling, talking about discipline and structure. The instant the call ended, he cornered my brother. You made me look like I can't run my own home. What followed left my brother silent for 2 weeks. He stopped eating, stopped talking. His teachers just thought he'd gone quiet. I saved money from my weekend job for college application fees, knowing he'd never help. He found the envelope. You think you're too good for this family? He tore the forms up over the sink while I stood there watching. Later, a neighbor asked about my future. She's applying everywhere. We work on her essays together every night. I nodded and smiled, knowing I'd missed every deadline. 2 uncles, and only we knew which was real. Then he announced that the director of a prestigious foster family grant was coming to observe us for an evening. The award came with money and recognition he'd chased for years. The director was known for her standards. She'd disqualified guardians for cruelty, pulled funding from homes that looked good on paper but weren't. Now she wanted 3 hours inside ours. One mistake, Uncle hissed, and you'll all regret it. But he had never held his mask more than 20 minutes at home. Phone calls, easy. Doorway chats, no problem. But 3 hours in his own kingdom, where he'd trained us to flinch. That had never happened. I watched my sister's hands shake, my brother fold into himself. For 14 years, home was where the mask came off. That night, he'd have to keep it on the whole evening. We prepared like our lives depended on it. Scrubbed the house, rehearsed answers. I covered the shadows under my sister's eyes. My brother practiced speaking in full sentences again. Uncle barked orders, caught himself, forced a smile. We're a happy, grateful family, he said through his teeth, the vein in his temple pulsing. That evening, the doorbell rang. Showtime, he whispered, transforming into the man everyone admired. The first hour was flawless. Charming stories, laughter on cue, my sister serving perfectly. But I watched him, saw his jaw clench when my brother paused too long, saw his knuckles whiten when my sister laughed too loud at the director's joke, saw that vein begin to pulse. By the second hour, the cracks showed. His smile went stiff, his laugh forced. He gripped his glass like it might shatter. This was the longest he'd ever had to pretend inside his own walls, and it was killing him. I didn't have to do a thing, I just had to wait. It happened over dessert. My sister set the director's plate down before his, a tiny breach of the order he'd drilled into us for days. The vein bulged. For God's sake, can you not do one thing right? It erupted. 14 years of it. I gave you a roof when nobody else would, and you can't even serve a meal. You're pathetic. All of you. The room froze. My brother started to hyperventilate. My sister's hands trembled, and the director just watched, her eyes moving from his twisted face to my sister's terror to my brother curled into his chair. Understanding settled over her. I believe I've seen what I need to see, she said quietly, standing. He stammered an apology. She raised a hand. Your family has been very enlightening. Thank you for dinner. The fallout was swift. He didn't get the grant. But the real turning point came when the director's written account of what she'd witnessed reached the caseworkers. And within months, my siblings and I were placed with our aunt instead. We moved into a smaller place, but it held something we'd never had. Quiet. The kind where a dropped fork is just a dropped fork. Uncle became a stranger in the town that once called him a hero. His careful image in pieces. Turns out 3 hours was all it took to undo the mask he'd worn for 14 years.